Namo Namaha. At the outset, I congratulate the Department of Sanskrit for completion of 60 grand years. And this year we are now celebrating the Diamond Jubilee of our department. So, my hearty congratulations to one and all. And I also thank head of the department, Dr. Shakuntala Gavde, for giving me this wonderful opportunity for delivering this lecture, which is related to my topic of research for PhD. So, the title of this lecture is Anukramanis, Ancient Method of Preservation of Vedic Mantras. So, let us begin with the topic. Anukramanis are the ancillary texts for the study of Vedic texts, Vedic mantras, we can say. They occupy an important place in the area of Vedic ancillary literature. An encyclopedic dictionary of Sanskrit on historical principles gives the derivation of the word Anukramani from Anu plus root Krama, indicating the content placed in a particular order. The term means index in general and again index in particular, of course, when it is related to Vedic texts. So, to define the same in particular terms, one has to go to the field of Vedic studies. Vedic indexes are called as Anukramanis, which comprise information of various nature. Vedic ritual and textual traditions have given a lot of importance to the seer, meter, deity of any hymn. Quotations occurring in Arshaya Brahmana or Brihad Devata present this thought. The quotations they go as Yoha aviditarshaya chando daivata brahmanena mantreena याजयति वा अध्यापयति वा स्थाणुं वर्षति गर्तं वा पद्यति मीयते वा पापीयान् भवति तस्मात् एतानि मन्त्रे मन्त्रे विद्यात्. Now, all these details relevant with the hymns are found in related Brahmana texts, that is understood. But they are not always easily accessible or handy. One has to search for long for procuring them. Now, to make them handy, sages like Shaunaka etc. made efforts in compiling such details for each hymn. These compilations were later on termed as Anukramanis. Anukramanis are also known as Anukramas. At times, many texts mention this word also. So, they have existed for every Veda, almost every Veda. However, we are handed down with the texts of very few Anukramanis by the tradition. References to Anukramanis are found ample in Sayana Bhashya, and they are as well found in Shadguru Shishya's commentary on Sarvanukramani titled Vedartha Deepika. Most of these Anukramanis have been composed by Shaunaka. This is what mentions Shadguru Shishya in his Sarvanukramani Vritti Bhumika. That is the introductory part belonging to the commentary of Sarvanukramani. Few verses from this commentary have been quoted by Max Muller also in his History of Ancient Sanskrit Literature. These verses mention that Shaunaka has composed 10 treatises for the preservation of Rigveda. And these treatises are known as Arshanukramani, Chandonukramani, Devatanukramani, Anuvakanukramani, Suktanukramani, Rugvidhanam, Padavidhanam, Brihad Devata, Rug Pratishakya, and Shaunakiya Smriti. It goes as, the quotation goes as, Shaunakiya Dashagranthaha tada Rugveda Guptaye आर्षानुक्रमणीत्याद्या छान्दसि दैवती तथा अनुवाकानुक्रमणी सूक्तानुक्रमणी तथा ऋक्पादयोर्विधाने च बार्हद्दैवतमेव च प्रातिशाख्यं शौनकीयं स्मारतं दशममुच्यते. This is what is mentioned by Shadguru Shishya. Then we come to the Anukramanis belonging to Rigveda. So the list is a bigger one. Let us begin with Arshanukramani. Arshanukramani, as the very name goes, uh, it is derived from the Arsha, the word is derived from Rishi. So this is composed in verses and describes the seers of 10 mandalas of the Rigveda. This Arshanukramani has been quoted for almost 15 times by Shadguru Shishya in Vedartha Deepika. Sayana also mentions this Anukramani. Sayana says, at one of the quotations, he says, Uktam hi Arshanukramanyam. Suktam sayo vrushetyetat panchavarsha gira viduhu. This is the Sayana Bhashya on Rigveda, first mandala, 100th Sukta. Then we come to Chandonukramani. Chandonukramani is also composed in verses, and these verses elaborate the meters of hymns and even individual mantras as per the mandalas. Then the third Anukramani is Devatanukramani. Now, unfortunately, Devatanukramani is not available. Shadguru Shishya has quoted this Anukramani almost 10 times in Vedartha Deepika. Scholars like Laurie Patton, who has worked extensively on Brihad Devata, she says that Brihad Devata is the extended version of Devatanukramani. Anuvakanukkramani. Next important Anukramani in the series of Anukramanis for Rigveda is Anuvakanukkramani. This is a small versified work containing 45 verses and which can be called as an index dealing with the Anuvakas. It states the initial word of each of the Anuvakas. Shadguru Shishya has written a commentary on Anuvakanukkramani named as Anuvakanukkramani Vrittihi. Then we come to Suktanukramani. This gives a list of initial words of each hymn. It is again not available. Also, at one place, a reference is found that this Anukramani mentions the last verses of each mandala. And this reference has been given by Max Miller in his History of Sanskrit Literature. Then we come to the next structure or next composition, that is Rigvedhanam. This is a Vidhana text belonging to Rigveda. It is composed in Anushtub and Trishtub meters and consists of 4 adhyayas. There are 2 recensions of this work, Jyeshtha, which is the longer one, and Kanishtha, which can be called as the shorter one. The latter in the list, that is the Kanishtha Rigvedana, shorter recension, is supposed to be the earlier recension and it's simply mentioned as Rigvedhana. On the other hand, Jyeshtha Rigvedhana is also titled as Brihad Rigvedhana. It enumerates the Viniyoga, Vidhi and Phala of some of the Rigvedic mantras. M.S. Bhatt, who has critically edited and translated Rigvedana, also holds an opinion that Vidhana texts follow the sequence of traditional text of Samhitas and are a part and parcel of Anukramani literature. Then we come to the next Anukramani, which is Pada Vidhanam or Padanukramani. It is the index of pratikas of the Rigveda. Now, pratika is the beginning word, maybe 1 or 2 words occurring at the beginning of the verse or the rucha. Not rucha, but the sukta, sorry. Shadguru Shishya mentions 5 verses from this Anukramani. The composition is a smaller one which contains prose text as well as verses. This Padanukramani or Padavidhanam has been published by H.G. Narhari from Adyar Library in 1950. The edition contains a commentary titled Padavidhana Bhashya, of which the author is unfortunately not known. Then we come to the next Anukramani in the list, is Brihad Devata. The text of Brihad Devata has been published along with its translation by one of the celebrated scholars of Sanskrit, MacDonald, in 1904. This composition is not recognized by the title of Anukramani, but MacDonald states that Shadguru Shishya has called this text as Anukramani in Vedartha Deepika. He mentions that in one of the manuscripts studied by Professor Hogg, the title page contains the expression as Brihad Devataanukramani Prarambhaha. So, from this, one can infer that the composer of this text had in his mind its nature, I mean, the nature of the text, like Anukramani. Uh, the text of Bruhat Devata comprises of 8 chapters and almost 1050 verses. It highlights the deities of the suktas and myths related to them wherever possible. The next Anukramani is called as Chandas Sankhya. This is a very small work containing 11 verses and is edited and published as an appendix to Chandonukramani by MacDonnell. The term Chandas Sankhya seems to be given by MacDonnell himself. This text enlists the number of meters used for different mantras separately. It mentions the number 10402 as the number of ruchas from Rigveda. Then we come to the almost the last Anukramani and the important Anukramani of Rigveda, which is Sarvanukramani. Now, all the earlier mentioned Anukramanis are attributed to Shaunaka, but tradition ascribes the doership of this Anukramani to Katyayana, who was a disciple of Shaunaka. It is believed that Katyayana abridged the available Anukramanis and composed this one. So MacDonnell mentions that this is the same Katyayana who is the composer of Pratishakya and Shrauta Sutra, and who is considered to have been flourished in the middle of 4th century BCE. So this Sarvanukramani is written in Sutra style, and it is divided into 2 main parts, Paribhasha and Sarvanukrama. The part of Paribhasha can be called as a technical aid to study Sarvanukrama, which is the later part. It is divided into 12 parts known as Kandika. Next part, that is Sarvanukrama, is divided into 64 Kandikas. Like Anuvakanukramani, Shadguru Shishya has composed a commentary on Sarvanukramani also, which is titled as Vedartha Deepika. I have quoted Vedartha Deepika several times before, and it was composed in 1187 CE. Thus, from whatever description is available to us, one can understand the nature of Anukramani texts from this very definition available to us, which is given by the tradition. The definition goes as Sarvadneyarthatvat Sarvanukramani Shabdam Nirbruvanti Vipashchitaha. One can infer that the Anukramani texts were of a great use for such handy information which was necessary for recital or academic and ritual purposes. Nature of Anukramani texts is different from other philosophical treatises. Basically, when we speak about Anukramanis, let us first understand that these are the index texts which compile and consist the necessary information about the Vedic mantras, and this information was needed to be preserved integrally from the ritualistic point of view also, and from academic point of view also. So for understanding the importance of Anukramanis, we have gone through the information of Sarvanukramani. Let us take a few examples from Anuvakanukramani. As I have already mentioned that this is a small versified work containing 45 verses, and it also has a commentary written by Shadguru Shishya, which is known as Anuvakanukramani Vritti. Now the first 14 verses of Anuvakanukramani are of introductory nature, and this Anuvakanukramani basically deals with the Anuvakas of Rigveda. We all know that Rigveda has been divided into 10 mandalas, but again there are 2 different divisions of Rigveda also. One is known as Anuvaka, and the second one is known as Ashtaka. So in all there are 3 types of Vyavasthas, Anuvaka Vyavastha, Mandala Vyavastha, and Ashtaka Vyavastha. So the word Anuvaka basically means a chapter or subdivision of the Veda, which was recited during a ritual. So yes, now again, as I mentioned about the commentary, we can see that the commentary does not carry a specific name as such. So therefore it has been referred just like as Anuvaka Anukramani Vrittihi. Now, yes, the first 14 verses of Anuvaka Anukramani, as I said earlier, are of introductory nature. They throw light on the subject matter as well as the procedure of learning Vedas. Ninth verse from Anuvaka Anukramani states that this Anukramani is based on the Shaishiriya branch, which is a part of Shakala recension. He also declares to mention the known Anuvakas, number of hymns, and the order. He says, दृष्टानाम् अनुवाकानां ऋजुवक्ष्याम्यतन्द्रितः सूक्तादिपरिमाणन्तु संख्यां च क्रममेव च. First two verses of Anuvaka Anukramani are of somewhat modern style compared to other verses. Interestingly, Shadguru Shishya has not commented on these two verses. It might be possible that the first verse as an invocation and second verse mentioning the name of Shaunaka might have been added by the later scribes as the introductory stanzas. So that is the thing. Then there are three types of divisions of Rigveda. We have already seen that: Mandala Vyavastha, Ashtaka Vyavastha, and Anuvaka Vyavastha. The third, though not a popular one, was in vogue for ritual purposes. The entire text of Rigveda is divided into 85 Anuvakas. Verse 32 from Anuvaka Anukramani, which is given on the screen also, mentions the number of Anuvakas from each mandala. It says Adye Chaturvimshatihi. That is, in the first mandala there are 24 Anuvakas. Atapparam mandalam yat chatushkam. So after that, I mean after Adya Mandala, whichever Mandala comes, that contains 4 Anuvakas. That is the group of 4, Chatushkam. Dve Panchake. I mean the 2 Mandalas coming after that, they have 5 Anuvakas each. Trini Shatkani. Now, 3 Mandalas coming after that, that is 5, 6, 7. They have Shatka, that is the group of 6. So, accordingly, 6 Anuvakas are there in each of these Mandalas, that is 5th Mandala, 6th Mandala, and the 7th Mandala. Then, Dashashtamam, Saptanavamam, Dvadashantyam. So, Dashashtamam, that is in Ashtama Mandala, we have 10 Anuvakas. In Navama Mandala, we have 7 Anuvakas, and Dwadashantyam, that is in the 10th Mandala, we have Dwadasha Anuvakas. So this is how the description of the number of Anuvakas in each Mandala has been given in this one single verse. The actual part or actual description part begins from verse 15. From verse 15 to 21 are contained the pratikas of each Anuvakas and the number of hymns contained in these Anuvakas. Then we come to the next part, that is verse 33 to 35. Now what do they contain? They contain the number of hymns in the various mandalas. They say ekadhikaha syanavatihi shatam cha. So in the first mandala, this will be clear from the table. I'll read the verse and I will relate it to the tabular format. So ekadhikaha syanavatihi shatam cha vadanti vai mandalam adito yat. So the first mandala contains the number of hymns as 191. चत्वारिंशत् त्रीणि चाहुः द्वितीयं सूक्ते च षष्टिं च तृतीयम् आहुः. So चत्वारिंशत् त्रीणि, that is चत्वारिंशत् 40 plus 3, that is 43. Dvitiya Mandala contains the number of hymns as 43. And Shashtim cha Trutiyam Ahu. The third mandala contains the number of hymns as 62. Then अष्टापञ्चाशदपि यच्चतुर्थं सप्ताधिकाशीतिः अतः परं स्यात् पञ्चाधिकासप्ततिः उत्तरं तु चत्वारि वासिष्ठमथो शतं च. So accordingly, we get to know the number of hymns again in the coming mandalas. That is, the fourth mandala contains 58, that is Ashtapanchashadapi. Then fifth mandala contains 87, Saptadhika Shitihi. Then the sixth mandala contains 75, Panchadhika Saptatihi Uttaram tu Chatvari Vasishtamatho Shatam cha. That is 104 in the Vasishta, that is the Saptama mandala. द्वे चैव सूक्ते नवतिं च विद्यात् अथाष्टमं नवमं वै शतं स्यात् चतुर्दश तु आहुः अथाधिकानि अपि आद्ये यदुक्तं दशमे तथैव. So the number of hymns in the first mandala and in the 10th mandala is the same, that's what they say. And in the 9th mandala we have the number of hymns as 114. So चतुर्दश तु आहुः अथ अधिकानि अपि आद्ये यदुक्तं दशमे तथैव. So this is how these 3 to 4 verses, they actually mention the number of hymns coming in each mandala. Now verse 36 states the total number of hymns to be 1017, whereas in the Bashkala recension there are 8 additional hymns giving the total number as 1025. Lastly, verse 43 of Anukramanis states the total number of ruchas in the Rigveda to be 10580. Now, we come to the next part, that is the nature of the text. This is very interesting to see. Now, the form of the text of Anukramanis can be called as one having codes. We have already seen some examples. Now, let us take some other example. This is, I think this is verse number 22. It goes as Tvam yo gananam a te dasha trutiya ekadashaha trayaha pare somasya matavasam dvadashoktam pravo devaya iti saptadashakam tu vidyat. The first line of this 22nd verse describes the 4 anuvakas in the second mandala. It gives the pratikas of the relevant suktas and the number of suktas present in each anuvaka. Let us understand this from this table. Now see, it goes as Tvam yo gananam a te dasha trutiya ekadashaha trayaha pare. So Tvam is the first pratika, which is from the second mandala. Then the first verse have been I have quoted that verse, that rucha, Tvam agne dyubhihi tvam ashu shukshanihi. So they have the number of suktas which are given over there in the first anuvaka, that is ekadasha. Accordingly, yo is the second pratika, gananam is the third pratika, ate is the is the fourth pratika. So we can see that how the pratikas have been listed over here in the first line of the 22nd verse. Again, yes, the total number of hymns also is 43, which we can match over here. Second mandala has a number of hymns as 43. Again, accordingly, the description regarding the third mandala has also been given. So we can see that Somasya Matavasam is the first pratika. Then Dvadashoktam is the pratika of the second anuvaka. I mean the first hymn of the second anuvaka. Then Pravo Devaya iti Saptadashakam tu Vidyat. Sorry, Dvadashoktam is not the pratika. I made a mistake over there. Pravo Devaya iti is the second pratika. And Saptadashakam tu Vidya, that is the number of hymns is given over there. Dvadashokta actually connects to the number of hymns in the first anuvaka. Then Ichchantitva is the pratika, and Nava is the, it is the Sankhya of that of the hymns or the suktas coming in that particular Anuvaka. So accordingly, we can see the division, and I have also quoted over here whatever Sayana mentions in his Bhashya. Here he says, Tatra Prathame Anuvake Dvadashu Suktani, and we get the same number over here, Dvadashoktam. Or Dvitiya Anuvake Saptadasha Suktani, Saptadashakam tu Vidyat. So accordingly, I mean, while deciphering or decoding, we can say, such verses, I have from time and again I have referred to Sayana Bhashya, and this information has been given on the screen. Yes. Now, speaking about Anuvaka Anukramani, the text of Anuvaka Anukramani mentions the division of second mandala in just one cryptic verse. A student not familiar with the concept of pratika will definitely stumble upon interpreting this verse. Anuvaka Anukramani Vrittihi gives the beginning of first sukta of each Anuvaka in second mandala along with the number of suktas therein. So definitely, I mean, whenever we are studying the Anukramani texts, whichever commentaries are available, they are of great help to us. So the very role of commentaries, that is to decompress the basic text, becomes particularly evident while studying Anuvaka Anukramani. As these Anukramani texts are a strong aid for the preservation of Vedic texts, the nature of these is ought to be cryptic and compact. One has to take help of the commentaries for understanding and interpreting them completely. Now we come to the next Anukramani, which is Pada Vidhana or Pada Anukramani. As mentioned earlier, this is the index of pratikas of the Rigveda. The composition is a smaller one containing 14 verses and a prose text as well. I have also mentioned that it has been published by H.G. Narhari from Adyar Library in 1950, and it also goes with the commentary titled Padavidhana Bhashya, and we don't know the name of the author. As the editor mentions, the text of this Anukramani is only an index of pratikas of some of the most difficult padas of Rigveda. Interestingly, the commentary on Pada Vidhanam or Padanukramani gives the complete list of all padas. The division of the padas in Anuvaka Anukramani is based on Anuvaka system. Pada Vidhana gives the same based on Ashtaka system. Again, this becomes clear from the commentary as the text of Pada Vidhana is very compact in nature. Speaking about Padavidhana, it also gives the description of Ati Chandansi, that is Ati Jagati, Shakvari, Ati Shakvari, Ashti, Atyashti, Dhruti, and Ati Dhruti. And it also mentions the padas, which are examples of these meters. So to understand from the point of view of meters also, the study of Padavidhana or Padanukramani is important. Now, coming at the end, I would say one can understand that the composition of Anukramanis is the first known attempt in the field of indexing. So, these are of an important nature for the study of Vedic literature and also a source of knowledge created for retentive purpose. So, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and I stop my presentation over here. Thank you again.